Thank you for attending today's webinar session. Obviously, I'm assuming everybody on the webinar today will be attending because they are currently using Discoverer and support is coming to an end, and they want to know what their options are so they can make a well-informed decision on how they're going to move forward. I'm Julie Bowen. I'm a management accountant and I'm the business development manager at Insight Software. Some people on today's call might recognise me from various user groups and SIGs, and I've been working with our Oracle customer base for about 6 years now.
I'm Neil McLean. I've recently joined Insight Software. I was previously a customer. I used the product for 5 years. I'm also a management accountant. My history is around the EBS side of Insight Software. I've used Oracle EBS for 10 years, both in the financial side of the product and working in the IT. I spent about 5 years working my way through an organisation in various finance roles. Worked with the subledger, accounts payable, accounts receivable, projects, and also spent a lot of time doing the general ledger role, month end, year end, that kind of stuff. Quickly realised that I wanted to spend a bit more time in the IT side of things. I spent a lot of time doing reporting and working in that. So then I moved over to a new role where I was involved in a Release 11 to Release 12 upgrade. Took the lead role for accounts payable, payments, e-business tax, and I supported general ledger and HR and reporting. I'm currently the solutions product manager for Insight Unlimited, including Oracle e-business suite.
Great. So in your previous role, Neil, what were the main complaints that you heard from finance and users and the people you actually distributed the Discovery reports to?
Yeah, so there was a number of different complaints that we got on a regular basis. You'd hear that it's not simple enough, so a lot of the time that users were coming back saying, oh, this doesn't do what I want it to do, it's not easy enough for me to adapt, I can't get the drill downs, the additional information that I need. Another big issue is that it's slow. They're always coming back saying, it takes a really long time to run reports, it's not doing it quick enough. I go away from my desk, come back and forgot what I was trying to do in the first place. And one of the things that you see quite regularly in Discoverer is the drill down timer, the timer that says how long the report's got left to run, will get down to 0 and then starts counting up again, and that just drives people insane. Fan trap errors are a big issue for those users that have got the slightly higher level of privileges where they can build some reports using the end user layer that's available. They can sometimes get a fan trap error and they don't understand what this is. It's difficult to explain to a user, and it's really difficult to resolve to a user. So there's a lot of issues around about those areas.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that with the feedback we've had from our customers that were using Discoverer, it's that the drill down's not intuitive. And if they want a different drill down to what the report was originally designed to do, getting something changed is obviously it's not very easy.
That's right.
So I mean, at your previous job, you were the main person who created the Discoverer reports. So what were your main issues with Discoverer?
Yeah, well, as the main person that did the Discoverer reports, all the skills end up lying with one person. So I go in and I design the end user layer, or I design custom reports, custom folders to deal with specific reports, and that knowledge is lying with me. So as soon as I go off on holiday or if I'm off sick, then that means everything's on hold until I come back. It's not really a good way to run your business. You can expose some risk there. I was in the IT department, so again, it wasn't really the best use of my time sitting spending hours building reports and designing the end user layer to meet the user requirements. My time was better spent doing transformational projects like the 11i to R12 upgrade, or even getting round to patching the R12 version. So there was lots of areas that I would rather spend my time, but I was always getting drawn back into building up Discoverer reports and spending the time there. If you have multiple people working on Discoverer, then you end up having long IT processes for change control, because one user could change something in the end user layer that knocks on 50, 60 reports, and then all of a sudden you've got a bunch of reports that aren't doing what they used to do. Users might not spot it, they could be using the wrong data to make decisions. It's quite a high level of risk. Users you often find still do data dump, so because of the complexities with Discoverer, it's an old product, it's been around for a number of years, they haven't spent a lot in the investment in the UI, it's clunky, people still do data dumps. They don't get the drill downs easily that they require, so what they ask IT for is one big massive spreadsheet that gives them absolutely everything they can need out of Discover. They dump it into Excel and then they do their own pivots, they split the data up however they want, and that's not really the best use of your database time, of your IT time, or even your accountant's time. So what ends up happening is the users become frustrated, they can't get anything they need quickly. If they need to refresh a report that they issue weekly, say somebody asks for them midweek, they have to go through the whole process of dumping down a massive lot of data, pulling that off into Excel, reconfiguring it out, and then shipping that report. It's a cumbersome process. Yeah,
and I think what you've just said there is echoed by many of our customers. In fact, anybody who attended the Oracle user group down in London last year, we did a session with one of our other customers, Asra Housing, and this was exactly the story that they told, that the guy Bal, he was the only person that could write the Discover reports. He went on holiday, everything stopped, and by implementing Insight and replacing their Discover reports, the business users actually had a better perception of Oracle because they were getting the information that they asked for a lot quicker. So with that in mind, people that are attending the SIGs and look on the Oracle website, you see lots of different things on what is the life cycle plan for Discoverer. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that from your experience?
Yeah, the Discoverer life cycle, like many things Oracle, it's difficult to pin down exact dates with them. You can see, you go online, you do a search, you'll see 10 different dates there for the same thing. So the premium support ended. They're not planning on doing any more releases. They haven't done any development work on it in the last couple of years. In fact, when the R12 version came out, it only had like a couple of minor additional features that were pretty pointless, to be honest. There wasn't any major development done in it at all. And customers have been told by Oracle to move away from Discover by June 2015. And it's just come to its end of its life cycle. It was great 20 years ago. It's progressively got worse. It's not kept up with market trends, and it's not been developed the way you would expect a key business tool to be developed.
Yeah, because people have obviously made a huge investment in Oracle. So it seems strange that they're putting old technology on that to report. So people that are still using Discoverer, however, they should be aware of what the different replacement options are. So I think we've sort of picked out three main ones here, if you'd like to talk us through those.
Yeah, we picked out OBIE because that's what Oracle said. Their official line is MD on Discoverer should be moving away to OBIE. Now, OBIE is a good product. However, it's not a reporting product. It's not there for transactional reporting, for your operational reporting, your day-to-day ad hoc inquiries. The kind of tools like OBIE that do the dashboard stuff are great for high level, sort of C-level reporting, where they just want to go in and have a quick look where things are and get that sort of high level fast look. They're not looking to do day-to-day analysis or ad hoc reporting. One of the biggest issues with the data warehouse model is you have to think a year ahead. What reports am I going to need in a year's time? Because we need to develop the data into the data warehouse in a way that we can then use that to do the reports that we're going to need. And in dynamic business, which it is today, you have to be able to change from day to day what you need, what you're reporting on, what you're looking for. You have to be able to respond quickly, and tools that require that level of development, 6-month implementations, just aren't dynamic enough to deal with the day-to-day business. The alternatives are, you could look for a third-party application. There's quite a few applications out there, including our own. You could do an analysis. I would recommend that if you're looking at a third-party application, go to them with a bunch of reports that you need and say, let's see these reports on your software, on our data. And that's a great way to see exactly what the product's going to do for yourself. And finally, you could always stick with the unsupported Discoverer. You've been using it for a number of years, you've maybe not had any issues, but there's a high level of risk that if your auditors come in and say, oh, we want such and such a report, if you can't deliver it, or if something critical happens with Discoverer, or even if you're trying to use a 64-bit machine and you've only got a 34-bit install, then it's a nightmare to install it. So what happens in a year's time once Windows bring out some other technology that stops it working and Oracle don't spend any money creating patches for that software to then work? I mean, you could really be in a bad position when as early as a year's time.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously you've got a lot of experience of working with Oracle, many years as an accountant working with Oracle. You've now come here as our product manager. So what, in your experience, do you think people really want from a reporting application?
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things is it has to be intuitive and user friendly, and we'll come on to that. Some of the areas around reporting is always real time. So you're looking to inquire over the real time data. Data warehouses have an inherent problem that I was discussing earlier, just saying that basically you have to know what you need 6 months before you actually get it. Also, data warehouses have the issue with load times. So if you've got a complex set of data that you maybe want to update transactions rather than just loading new transactions, often it can be quite dangerous to try and identify how transactions have changed and update the data warehouse. So what users end up doing is they build a system that clears the data out and then reloads it fresh to make sure they're getting correct data. As a result, they end up with a 4-hour load time. Now, if you're at month end, you've just posted a journal, you're wanting to see the impact of that, the last thing you want is to have to wait 4 hours for the IT guy to refresh the data warehouse to be able to see what you need. So real time is really important. You want to see your answer there and then so that you can act on it, make your business decisions and move forward with whatever problem you had. You need reports to be flexible. As I said, organisations are more dynamic and it's only going to get more so as we move to the future. What happens is you'll get a query one day and you can have sort of set of reports that might meet that query, but then the next day somebody could come up and say, actually I want this in a slightly different take, or I want it in a slightly different way, and as a result, if you're using IT developed reports, then you're unable to alter those reports unless you go back to the good old data dump, let's pull everything into Excel, which nobody wants to do, it's a waste of time and resource. So being able to build flexible ad hoc reports is really important. And the one that I would say is the sort of highest level, we've got it third there on the list, is intuitive. Users have to be able to pick up the tool and get the answers they need without going to IT and saying, oh, I'm trying to add on this column, how do we do it? They shouldn't have to worry about that. It should be click and drag. They should just have to add things in as and when they need it. It should be really simple to use and allow them to get the business questions answered quickly and efficiently. And one of the big issues with IT is they've got a bunch of other projects going on at the same time. So what happens is they have to put it into the queue and they have to say, right, so either we have a resource dedicated to doing reporting, or we have a queue of projects, and once your project comes up, then we'll spend a bit of time, we'll get you all the reports you need, and then 6 months later, get you back to square one, you're going back through the whole process again. If you empower your users to do their own reporting, they can just go in and they can pull off what they need and when they need it. And obviously security is a big issue. If you're looking some of the tools out there like Oracle Applications Express, you don't actually get security out of the box, you have to build it yourself, and that's, trust me, really complicated. Insight Unlimited adheres to the Oracle security settings straight out of the box, so as soon as you load it up, it asks you to log in with your username from Oracle and you select your responsibility, and then that will restrict your data set down based on the responsibility settings. So you don't need to do any setup, there's no configuration, you just press a button and off you go, and security's there. Great.
So if we look at BI first, have you had any experience of BI?
Yeah, well, there's been a number of things that I've done, obviously working through finance and in IT. I've seen a lot of different installations. Oracle's strategic direction for customers is go to OBIE. They've actually published that and said that that's where they're wanting their customers to go to. But as I said before, OBIE isn't your day-to-day tool. It doesn't do your operational reporting, your transaction reporting. It just doesn't handle that level of detail. Customers are often looking for a web platform for data with interactive dashboards, and that's great for, as I said, C-level people, but when it comes to your accountants, if you ask them if they want to see dashboards, they'll say, well, no, what I really need to see is the answers to my questions, I need to see the data. Also, you've got long implementation time, reports are static, so you can't make the day-to-day changes, you don't have the ad hoc capabilities, and it's not a day-to-day reporting tool, it just really doesn't give that level of detail that you need.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point, because we did a webinar recently with one of our other customers, Jason from Ladbrokes, and they actually implemented OBIE alongside Insight, And what they did was they took all the operational reporting, kept it in Insight, and used OBIE for what it was intended for. Because I think what people sometimes try and do is make the business intelligence solution fit all the reporting requirements in the business. So if you have the right application for the right job, you've got a far greater chance of seeing a success in the project. Okay, and now insightsoftware.com. In your previous company, you used Insight Software, obviously. What did you particularly like about it?
I mean, there was a number of things that really drew it to myself. My first role within my last organisation was to implement Insight Software. So one of the things off the bat was I didn't know the users and I didn't know the data set. So obviously it was high risk to put myself as the lead person implementing that project. However, it's so straightforward, simple to use and user-friendly that even as a new employee to the company, I was able to roll the product out to all levels, users, management and C-level within 1 month, getting them all the reports that they needed. So when we talk about fast Insight Software, you've got a number of areas that are fast there. One, the guys were really fast to respond, so we took a list of reports to them and said, we really need these reports. We can't go with a reporting product unless it can do these reports. So within 1 day, they were able to deliver that list of reports, and at the same time, I got training. So we used those reports as my training, and we said, this is how you would do it, this is how you pull it together, and I was able to take my business knowledge, my knowledge of reporting packages and say, oh yeah, I completely understand what you're doing, I can see how we can get the reports we need. And in fact, the reports that they delivered paid for the product, because we were going to pay a consultant to build those reports, and what it was going to cost us to build those reports, it was actually cheaper to buy the product. So straight off for us, it was a no-brainer. So fast is so many levels. The reports run fast, you can build the reports fast, it's fast to roll out, and Insight are fast to respond to queries. So it's just, that was the big thing for me. It was how quickly you were able to react to market issues. The security, the fact that it was out the box security, we didn't have to look at building in custom, you just plug it in and work, was excellent, because we were a oil and gas exploration company, it was, that I worked for, and it was important that we secured the data between the assets, so that was key, and the fact that it works out the box is great. Real-time reporting was fundamental. A lot of time was spent at month end trying to reconcile the ledgers, and we were able to reduce that significantly because we could use the real-time reporting there to go in and answer the questions that we need. And the fact that it was intuitive just made it really easy to roll out, and also it meant minimum training for the users. So anyone with the advanced access was able to go in and build reports. They were able to get trained in 2 days maximum. Whereas the console users, I actually rolled out some of the console users without any training at all. I just said, here's your username, here's your password, this is the folder that contains your reports, off you go. And they were able to go and just use the product. It was really simple to use. It had a common user interface that they were familiar with, and they didn't have any issues just picking it up. And for those C-level people that did need the extra bit of training, it was literally half an hour training and they were off and running with it.
Great. I mean, I think when we first met, I think it's going back to about 2008 or 2009 at Oracle User Group. Yourself and two of your colleagues came to a presentation that we did, came straight to the stand afterwards and said, that looks great, but I want to see it on my data. So we ran a proof of concept, free of charge proof of concept with Neil and his colleagues, and we've done that with pretty much 95% of our customers, because I think the fact that it's easy to install, it's easy to use, really comes over when you actually see that on your data. And I think another good point you made there is it's easy for people to learn because it's got a consistent interface. One of the gripes that I get from people is that if they want one piece of information, it's an online inquiry, then they might run a discovery report, then they could run an FSG, but if they want something from accounts payable, it's completely different. So by giving people that consistent interface really made them feel comfortable. And just lastly, sticking with Discoverer, I mean, I'm not sure that's a really good option when it's going to be unsupported very soon. I mean, as an accountant, I don't think I'd feel very comfortable producing pieces of financial information that are going to be published to my shareholders on unsupported software. So what would you advise customers to do regarding moving?
Yeah, if it was me, I mean, it's all about risk, isn't it, and return on investment. If you move sooner, sooner you're starting to make a return on your investment. You can use the new software, you can take advantage of that, you can improve your processes, save on costs. And also, if you decide to stay in Discoverer, there's the increased risk that as time goes by, there's more and more chance you're going to hit a bug that's unsupported, or Windows will change the platform and you can no longer install the administration tool. So there's a number of risks there that need to be thought about in a business-to-business sort of scenario. But personally, I think Discoverer's old technology, it's not user-friendly, it's not intuitive. Why wouldn't you want to move away from it? You know, Oracle have given you the final push that lets you know that this product just isn't there anymore. It's not very good. We're not going to spend any money or time trying to make it better. So why not move now? Why are you waiting? Make your users happier, get return on investment, reduce your costs. It's a no-brainer. One of the things sort of to consider as well is if you're doing an 11i upgrade, do you do it as part of the upgrade, or do you wait until after your upgrade? And again, this is a business-to-business decision. That when I had Insight Unlimited installed, we were on 11i, so I was lucky enough to have the software there for the upgrade, and it was actually invaluable to me. I was able to run the 11i report and the R12 report side by side, one on each screen, which was excellent for identifying issues. Now, for those of you that haven't gone through an 11i upgrade, I think you should really Google Master GDF. In R12, there's a number of fundamental data issues that will cause you to have to get patches from Oracle to be able to get your 11i data correct in the R12 product. Now, I upgraded in the early 2012, so there wasn't a lot of documentation and support already out there. This has got better over the last couple of years. But when you're doing the upgrade process, there can be a number of things that you'll trip up over, and having reporting software there that you can analyse both 11i against R12 just means that you can run the data and see exactly where your issues are. I was using Insight Unlimited to send reports to Oracle and say, here's the transactions that are broken that I need patches for, and then when they gave me the patches, I was able to rerun the same reports without any additional work by me, just pressing a run button after the patches were in, to see that the data was correct. And a lot of the times it wasn't, and I was going back and forth to Oracle. If I was doing a manual process to do that, I'd be spending days each time trying to reconcile the information. It's just not good and not usable for that. And another great thing about having reporting software there was when we upgraded, we were able to print off the reconciliations that we'd done between 11 and 12. We got them signed off by finance, and then we handed them to the auditors when the auditors come in. So the auditors would normally do substantially more work when you change or upgrade your ERP system. Because we had the reconciliations to show that all the ledgers, all the periods were all identical in both versions, they didn't have to do that extra work. So that saved us time, money and stress. If you're already an R12 customer, perhaps you've recently upgraded or you've just implemented, and you've realised that the reporting in R12 didn't meet the promises that you thought it was going to. BI Publisher is really difficult to use. If you need additional columns, it's next to impossible. It's just not delivered in the way that you thought it was going to be. The standard reports haven't made use of BI Publisher, so again, you're having to build customizations, you're having to get IT consultants in. It's all very expensive. Rather than doing that piecemeal, now's the time to think, actually, would it be better getting a reporting tool in there? Let's do a project. Let's get some companies in, let's have a look at what products are out there in the market, and get something in that's going to help our users and really reduce the costs and the time involved and the pain, just to make people's lives a bit easier.
Right, so thank you very much for that, Neil. We're now going to just dive in and just show you a couple of inquiries that we've got set up within Insight so people can actually visualise what we've been talking about. So I'm just going to flip into Insight. Most of our users, as Neil pertained to, all our customers use the console. So someone such as Neil will have actually written these reports for them as a reporting user. And as a reporting user, our customers can have access to all of the finance modules within Oracle, purchasing, inventory, projects, and they've also got the ability to create their own templates over custom tables or anything that we don't actually touch. So if I'm just going to open up a predefined report, so I'm opening up a GL report to start with. So as a console user, this report has been published to me, And at the top of the screen, I've got some key filters. So, for instance, in this inquiry, I'm looking at the current period, the current year, and I'm excluding all my balance sheet cost centres. So if I want a high-level view of my data, I can just click on Hide Details, so I can instantly see what each of the balances is for all of my departments. So if I just expand that again and move down, so I can see all the detail now. At any point within Insight, you can actually drill down to the underlying transactions. And Neil pertained earlier that it's not easy to do that in Discover. It's quite hard to set the drill downs, and it doesn't always give people the information that they want. So if I right click on an inquiry now, I can click on Transaction Summary. Another report is going to open for me, and this has got a lot more detail in. So it's telling me the source of these particular transactions, the batch name, if it was a import, the effective date, and I can see all the individual transactions. And from a visibility point of view, I could then step over into accounts payable. If one of these came from a particular purchase order, I could drill down to the purchase order. But it's all very, very easy for the end user. And by having the filters at the top of the screen, they can then change their data selection. So if I just close out of this one, and you may also see, Neil did mention that when they were going through their audit, they were PDFing information to prove what particular balances were at any point in time. So information can either be taken into a PDF, an Excel spreadsheet, or a Word document. And people often produce their financial statements by taking it into Word. Then they can have lots of different narration types. So we've also got another report in this pack, and this is looking at current year and last year's information. So to easily get information relating to different years on one screen, again, isn't very easy. And what we're doing here is picking up the budgets that we're holding in Oracle, and most of our customers do hold their budgets in Oracle, and creating variances. So this is a typical sort of report that a budget manager may want to run on a monthly basis. And we've made this very simple by putting a drop-down list at the top of the screen, so if somebody wanted to actually just pick a particular department, they could run this report again, and it would just give them information for that one department. Now, one of the areas that's come up quite a lot recently is people have been asking for purchasing reports, because it's not very easy to get information from purchasing within Oracle, and plus the fact people are obviously are scrutinising spend a lot more. So within this particular inquiry, and this was something we actually wrote for a prospect, there was a guy, a purchasing manager, who was responsible for multiple different departments, and he wanted to see what had been ordered for each individual department and what the open amounts were for those purchase orders. And if I can scroll across, I've got some item description, who approved that, the unit of measure. But using the drill down within here, I can also see that if something's been invoiced, I might want to then drill across to accounts payable. So from here, I could actually go and have a look at the matched invoice. Now, people typically think of, when they think of drilling, they think of drilling down, but sometimes you might want to drill up or across. So it's just giving people information in a format that they feel comfortable with and that they can actually use to analyse. And then from here, I could go and have a look and see if this particular invoice has been paid, or I could have a look at some supplier master file type information. And these are all standard drill downs that we provide to our users out of the box. And another very simple inquiry, but it just shows how you can, something that's very simple can still have a lot of meaning. So a few of our customers have actually been asking, they've been having analysing suppliers who's been doing what within a purchasing department, and they wanted to actually see how many invoices had been posted without a purchase order number. Now, this really shouldn't happen apart from probably things like utilities. So just creating a very, very simple inquiry gave them information that they were doing huge data dumps for, and then trying to consolidate in some sort of meaningful fashion. If you're using a document imaging system as well, you could also link down to the scanned image, which again is very useful because it gives you the full traceability of a particular transaction. Now, that's very much a high-level view of what you could do as a console user. Obviously, we've got lots of things on our website if you wanted to see things in more information, in more detail. But if anybody's got any questions from today's session, there's my details here, so please do drop me an email or give me a call, and I'd be happy to discuss anything in more detail. Or again, if you wanted to see Insight running on your data, we'd be more than happy to do that. So thank you very much for your time today, and I appreciate you attending. Thank you very much.